With 2024 Release Wave 2, you can now integrate Business Central's service management module with field service. I'm Ivan, and I'm a product manager in Business Central product group. And please join me in this couple of minutes to take you through this new and exciting capability. So, integrating Business Central with Dynamics 365 Field Service is of particular value to companies that do regular maintenance or they do repairs of the products that they sell. It offers managing of the service task, handling consumption, and aligning financial transactions that benefit service technicians, that benefit service managers, and at the end, that benefit finance teams. On top of that, the technicians and dispatchers can utilize the capability of checking the inventory availability at a specific warehouse or at technician's desk in field service based on data that comes in from their inventory management solution, which is usually Business Central. This, of course, helps optimize work order scheduling, avoids unnecessarily traveling costs, and helps optimize their service and purchasing operations. So we'll start off by talking about how do we set up integration between field service and service management. I have one note to share with you in here. This is a feature that is becoming available in a first update or a November update of 2024 Release Wave 1, so do keep that in mind. And the setup itself is just an extension of an existing integration that we have between field service and the projects module that we have shipped in 2024 Wave 1. If you want to check details about that, make sure to check the description of the video, and there's a link to the video that we did in a previous release wave for that integration. So let's see this in action. So before we dive into a setup, I want to talk a bit about the prerequisites for enabling the integration to Service Management Module. As you know, Service Management Module is a part of the premium experience, so the first thing that you will need to do in order even to light up the capabilities of integrating field service with Service Management Module, you will need to turn on a premium experience in your company information. So I've already done that, so just want to point where this is. So I've changed the company experience to premium. Another thing that we need to do is you need to also ensure that there's a connection to Dataverse, there's a connection to sales before you can enable field service integration. But this is all, again, explained in the video that we've released in the previous release wave. And the way to start a setup is either by running it from a assisted setup guide that we have prepared for this. And you can see there's a new setting that's called integration type that basically allows you to set up integration either to projects or to service management module or to both. And on the next screen, what you will see is there's a toggle that actually enables the inventory availability by location. In order to do that, you will also need to have the virtual tables enabled. Of course, the same is also available in field service integration setup page, where you have these two toggles of enabling the field service, picking the integration type, and optionally you can enable inventory availability. Once the connection gets enabled, it also deploys the field service integration solution to field service, and it sets up some additional integration table mappings. So if you search for the integration table mappings that start with FS, you will find there's a location integration table mapping that was added. These were added in the previous release wave and the project task. And if you scroll down a bit, you will find service order, service item line, and service order type integration table mappings that have been added after you enable the integration. So this is just a recap of the things that you saw in the demo. We went through the prerequisites. I've talked briefly about integration type and how you can select it. There's a couple of things that happen also after the integration gets enabled. There are some settings in the service management setup that sort of become locked. Since field service can work with multiple customer assets, we need to disable the one service line per order. In the service management setup, we also make the service order type mandatory, because this is also a mandatory thing on the field service side. Also, we turn on the archiving of the service orders, together with making sure that the service order numbering now gets a manual flag, because the numbering in field service and in service management, the numbering of the work orders or service orders does not need to be the same. So that so to ensure the seamless integration, the service order numbering series needs to be enabled. And there's also when you enable inventory availability, one of the things that is sort of a mandatory setup, location mandatory, needs to also be turned on. And again, here is the list of the new integration table mappings that get added during enabling of the integrations. This is for reference only. Okay, so now that we have setup done and we've enabled inventory availability, we've enabled integration of service management module to field service, let's talk about inventory availability and what it actually brings through this integration. So let's see that in action. Back in Business Central, after you've enabled the field service integrations, you now have locations synchronized with your warehouses, right? You can actually go ahead and open some of the items, and I'll search for whole roasted beans. And if I check the whole roasted beans, this is one of the items that we have synchronized with field service. And if I look at availability by location, what you will see in here is in the east warehouse I have 1, and in the main warehouse I have 2 pieces, or was it kilograms of 2 pieces of whole roasted beans. Of course, if I go and open a product in field service that is related, that has been synchronized with this item that we've just looked at in Business Central, we will actually be able also to see the inventory availability. So if I go and click items availability by location, you can see the same numbers in here. And this is something that gets particularly useful when you are a dispatcher trying to schedule work orders, or if you're a technician just trying to figure out how many of particular items you might have on truck, in your truck or with you. So as a recap of the demo, what you saw in this inventory availability in field service is there's a prerequisite. You need to do this location to warehouse map synchronization. This is a unidirectional synchronization, meaning that Business Central, given that it's a system of record for inventory, is actually pushing the location information to field service. So we are not picking up any of this information from field service. When we are sending location information, we exclude the in-transit locations and those that have warehouse pick mandatory. To support the whole inventory availability story in here, we have added a new API that once you enable the feature, it actually gets published as a virtual table in field service. And on top of that, a synthetic relation between the products that we synced and this new virtual table gets created, and that gets you this nice view of available inventory in field service. Next up is actually, I would say, a core of the field service to service management integration, and that's the service order and work order alignment. Let's see that in action first, and then we'll talk a bit more about this feature. Back in Business Central, as I said, the topic of this demo is actually to showcase the service order and the work order alignment, right? So we'll open service orders, and you can see there's a list of service orders. There's an information about which ones of these have been already synchronized with work orders. There's a background task that actually goes and checks for new service orders and automatically synchronizes them. So this mapping is set to synchronize basically everything. So we don't have that sync only coupled records flagged turned on. So the moment you actually create a service order, it is going to start synchronizing in there. And in here, I have a service order for A-Data Corporation with S100 semi-automatic coffee maker, for which we are performing, let's call it a regular maintenance and bringing in some additional coffee beans to the customer. We've set up some service. We've actually added 2 items that we are bringing as a part of this maintenance contract that we have. Now let's see how that actually looks like in field service. And as you can see, the service order also has this standard set of actions for synchronizing. So you can synchronize get data here and there. You can open a already coupled work order. So let's do that in here. And when you land in field service, what you can see, there's data from the header of the work order being transferred, such as service account, work order types. There's information about a service item. It's called a primary asset. These service items are synchronized to what is called work order incidents. So you can have multiple work order incidents on the work order as you would have multiple service item lines in service order. And when you look at the products and services, you can actually see those products that we've added in the service order in Business Central. One thing to note as well is that there is a way of, it's not only that you need to create a service order in Business Central and then you send it to field service. There are cases, I mean, you can receive a call from a customer, a case is going to be converted to a work order incident or a work order, and you can also synchronize work orders the other way around, right? So, as I said, we have the products, we have the estimated quantities that we've entered in the service order, and what you can see is we also have services synchronized in there. So the dispatcher, what it's going to have a look, and where this inventory availability feature is going to be super interesting, is it's going to check if everything is ready, if all the products actually are there in order for him to be able to schedule this particular work order. Let's assume that this is the case in here, and I will just go ahead and quickly schedule this work order. So I just need location agnostic. And let's just remove these filters to show available resources. And I will assign this one to myself. And now that the work order has been scheduled, it's going to get a scheduled status. And I'm basically, as a technician, when I look at the scheduled work orders, I can just pick them on in order in which they arrive. So that's the first part of the story of the field service and the work order alignment. Let's get back to the slides to show you a bit more details. All right, so in this demo, what we saw was service order and work order alignment. As I said, there's a bidirectional synchronization of those things, so it means that the service order can come either as a result of service contracts and service orders that created related to service contracts in Business Central, or they can come from various places in field service, either from opportunity or a case or any other way. On the work order, when the work orders actually come from field service and that get synchronized in Business Central, there's actually a new flag that is called Integrate to Service, which you need to check mark in order to consider that work order in field service to be synchronized back in Business Central. As I said, service item lines are aligned with work order incidents, and you can have one or multiple customer assets associated with work order incidents, meaning you can have one or more service item lines on the service order. And of course, as I said, service lines, on the other hand, get aligned to work order product and work order service data, where you have the estimated quantities and duration synchronized to indicate to the dispatcher that this is something to look at. And the important thing to note is that estimated quantities and the quantity field actually just gets synchronized to work order up until the work order reaches the scheduled status. That's when we stop synchronizing quantity from the service lines, but we continue synchronizing quantity to ship, quantity to consume, and quantity to invoice, as you will see in the next demo. So the next part of our presentation today is how do you handle consumption and invoicing of the work orders that get scheduled, that get executed, and then need to be invoiced to a customer. Let's see that in a demo first. All right, so as a technician actually goes and works through the work orders that have been scheduled, once he arrives at the location, he will set the booking status to in progress. And now as he starts executing on the work order, of course, one of the things that's going to be also done is going to utilize the materials or the parts that he has brought with him to execute the work order. And let's say that when he came to the customer, he actually saw that there's enough of the coffee beans that he doesn't need two, but he just used one in here. So back in Business Central, the dispatcher or the back office is going to also see the status of the order reflected in Business Central, and they can basically track what is happening with that order by automatically synchronizing or manually just getting data from Dataverse. And they can repeat this process as many times as they wish up until the work order sort of reaches the status completed in field service. As they synchronize the data, they will see the updates to quantity to ship and quantity to consume reflected in Business Central. Now, if we switch back to work order in field service, so the technician has used the products and the materials. He has completed his service in there, and what he's going to do is he will set the status completed to the work order in field service. So once the work order is completed in field service, from the standpoint of the integration, it is considered ready to be posted in Business Central. Back in Business Central, what you can again see is the status gets reflected. When the work order is set to completed, it gets set to the status finished in here, and that's an indication for the back office personnel to go ahead and start posting the order. They will see the latest information about the consumption of services, consumption of materials, and once they are happy with this, they will go ahead and simply ship and consume, because there is some things that need to be consumed first. And we will also do ship and invoice for this order. For the remaining bits. Now, once the service invoice gets posted and the service order gets closed, this is again going to be reflected back in field service, where in the field service the work order basically receives the status posted. So looking back in field service, what you can see is that this work order is now in the state posted, meaning that the processing and the invoicing of the work order has been completed. And that wraps up this part of the demo. So as a recap of the last demo, what we saw was the service line alignment with work order. We say that there is a bidirectional synchronization of that, but you need to take that into account that it is sort of a conditional bidirectional synchronization. So what you saw that we had use quantities and durations getting aligned up until the work order is in completed status, and even in the completed status it can be done, but then there needs to be some conversation between the technician and the back office work to say, okay, well, now we are done updating the work order. All of the partial postings that you might have done up until the moment that the work order got to that completed status will be automatically aligned through quantity shipped and quantity consumed fields in field service. And as I said, the completed work order means ready to be posted. And once this is all done, the work order status gets posted status, and then it gets actually locked for any further editing. And of course, the resources and the durations that you've consumed through the booking are also transferred back to Service Order as something that you will only consume in Business Central, because the service line item is the one that gets invoiced to the customer. It's similar to what we have done with field service to projects integration. And that was it. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Do keep in mind that this feature is going to become available with update 1 of 2024 release wave 2, meaning November update. In the meantime, please check down the description below for the links to the previous release wave videos and the field service integration to projects, and have a look at other useful links that we've provided in the description of the video below. Thank you for your time.